Welcome to this week's vlog. Don't switch over, it's not the train journey vlog. It is definitely the eventing journey. But I had this bright idea, start of the week, that I was going to do a week of my life, and here you are at 6:30, joining me at the train station. And I thought, oh, that'd be brilliant. I'm going to vlog exactly what I get up to, how I finish work, and go and do the horses, and what I get up to with the horses, and what I've done that week. Except it was really, really dull. And it was so boring that I actually gave up with carrying on. This guy's shirt is not boring, but the vlog that I had started doing was really boring. So I completely changed my mind, and I've ended up just doing highlights of the week. Because do you honestly want to see me patting Incy and feeding her carrots? Because let's be honest, it's not that fun to watch, and we can do that anytime. If you do want to see that, comment below. But instead, you get some gratuitous footage of the Shetland, who's got a terrible clip because she gets too hot. And that was the extent. And this is the kind of crap I was filming, really, as I talked to the Shetland and gave her a pat and showed you her little shelter that she'd have built because she gets sunstroke, and that sort of thing. And so you're going to join me at Pontypool starting on the Saturday instead. Hello, so we've made it to Pontypool. We're at the top field here because the ground's much better. For her, there's quite a lot going on around because horses are using the gallops and stuff, which is excellent because anything that sort of like distracts her or gets her a little bit adrenalised is excellent for what I want to practice. So you're not going to see me jump huge amounts. It's mostly a water school and a lot of going up and down mounds and just canter work to make sure she's listening. So it's not what I'd call a traditional cross-country school. It's just a little bit of here and there and just get some energy out. Anyway, hope you enjoy. So from looking really sweet then in my intro, we're now riding the actual reality, which is a very, very sharp horse. She did do dressage practice yesterday and worked quite hard, but you would never know because she's come out with a smile on her face and pretty pleased to be out in an open field. And as you can see, she's got her ears pricked while you cantering around being cheeky. She feels amazing at the moment, but what happens is, of course, when you've got a very fit horse and she comes out feeling very well, and if I let go of the reins, which is what she kind of wants me to do, is we charge off, and if I hold onto the reins, which kind of makes her even more bouncy and tricky, then we end up with a bit of bucking. But as you can see, ears are very much forwards. This is not a cross type of bucking where the horse is in pain or discomfort. So what I have to do is start off and just keep cantering around until eventually she kind of quits. I just hold the neck strap and try and keep my hands down because she ends up where she's not really listening, not really soft. She ends up being a bit exciting to ride. So yeah, I just keep hold of the neck strap. She spooks everything as well when she's like this. So birds are flying out of the ground. That makes me like slightly stressed because she's sharp. Anyway, so we've now got to the point where I think I cantered around for 5 to 10 minutes, going backwards and forwards, and now she's nice again. So we've got all the energy. Well, we haven't got all the energy out because you can see she's having a good argument here, but we've got most of the energy out. And I really am not jumping very big, as you all know that I'm very much a wimp when it comes to cross-country schooling, and hold my hands up to say that. And plus, you kind of have this thing where 4 days' time, this horse is going to be going off to a big event. So you don't need to jump very big. The reason she's here is to try and expend some energy and make sure she's rideable, because we know that sometimes she's not. She quite enjoys her job, and she doesn't really appreciate having to listen to a rider sometimes because she thinks she knows best. Now, sometimes she does know best, but a lot of the time she doesn't and makes really bad decisions. But anyway, you can see she's now rideable. I can sit in the saddle without her bum and tail being higher than my hat. So we are just jumping everything out of a small canter because we know she can expand and we know she can go quite fast and we know she's big and bold and got loads of ability. So that's not what today is about. It is about having a horse that's going to listen and can go on turn and go on small strides and not just rush off after the fence. So here's me just literally schooling over some really small little fences, just trying to bore her slightly. I am much better in competition environment because I actually ride better, whereas cross-country schooling I'm a wimp. So as you can see, I've got no whip, no spurs, so it's useful for me. and we're just in a snaffle. So going through the water, and then I'm just going to pick up a few little jumps. With water, I always start with, even however experienced the horse is, always start with absolute basics, trotting and cantering through the water, whatever age they are, because you're out there to school, so you're just there to get confidence. You don't get prizes or points for going off and doing big and crazy stuff from the off. It doesn't really serve any benefit, so whatever age they are, they always start with a little canter through. She's here finding it very, very easy. I think she looks incredible at the moment. I'm really pleased with how she looks. And the physio report was really good this week, so couldn't believe the change in her. No real issues, apps at all, so that's good. And in the past, she's always had a slightly tighter right rein or a slightly tighter left neck and stuff, or hamstrings, but really nothing to note. And I think it's coming through in her performance. Anyway, so as you can see, we're not doing anything crazy with this water. It's literally just schooling for confidence. And she's been as good as gold. In fact, she's been all day she was as good as gold. So apart from the initial start when she came out sharp. But yeah, I really don't ride my best either. I'm just so not very brave. But she's all over it, which is lucky really, because I certainly am not. So one of the joys about Pontypool is they've built loads of mounds and things like that. So that is one of the things I really spent quite a lot of time making an effort and doing today. So you'll see that now. So with the water, just house, they can't see the water afterwards, even though I'd pop through the water anyway. And then they've got this little bit of a hollow, so I spent quite a lot of time just working on that. I didn't really need to jump very much, but we know she's one of life's enthusiasts, so here we go, just going to go jump the brush and then go down the hollow, and I just want her to stay in balance. It's steep enough, and then coming up, because what we do know at badminton is that the ground is quite undulating, and they're quite clever in where they build things. So at this point, I just wanted her to actually come down the hollows and wait, and not just expect to jump. So she's being asked to halt, and then rein back. Yeah, good girl. And we do that a couple of times, so it's just a discipline thing for her, so that she doesn't automatically come on a level ground and expect to run off. So here we go, just going down the steeper way, and actually that's my fault, 'cause we didn't actually stay in balance coming down that hill, so I should have come cantering down and not just let her drop to trot, though she can jump quite well out of trot. So yeah, this is just all training, so this is all just balance work for her and staying in a good balance without actually having to jump anything. So you save all the wear and tear, and still get the same result really. So yeah, I was pretty pleased with how she was going at this point. There you go. So that's where I did it again and made sure she came cantering down but stayed in balance, and then just halted again. So yeah, just all good work for us, and to make sure it's all correct. So what you're going to see in a minute is me just coming the other way, because the little mound up that way, which you just see me walking past, is a lot steeper. So I want to just then come back and jump it the other going up. So come down the less steep side to come up the mound, which is steeper, because again, that's the type of question you get, where you have to keep the horse in balance. So there you go. She's in good spirits. So this is a little boat, and as you can see at badminton, one of the things they have is a boxy thing with an upright, so I just wanted to jump it on the angle. She's pretty good, and actually the reason she's quite upset afterwards is the horse going past the gallops. You'll see it in a second. So it wasn't the most relaxed jump, so the first time I did it was a lot better. There you go. So that's what she had in her mind, and then she's a bit like, oh. Anyway, then we go to the other field. And again, they've got these little logs on top of undulating ground, which is absolutely perfect for what I wanted, because this is the type of question you get. Can you turn? Can you jump? So I'm just jumping this little log here, and then go to the next one, and actually you can see she just doesn't quite get the best. I wanted her to actually stay a little bit bouncier than that. She kind of opened her mouth and didn't shorten very well, so I come back round and do it again and add a few instead, and make sure I'm a bit more disciplined in how she comes down and then goes up the next one, because she needs to retain her power. She can't just guess and hope with undulating ground. She needs to stay through. So there you go. That's better. So then I was happy with that, and I think I'll pop round and jump a little ditch in a second. I know, I'm going to jump another one. So it's all good little practice, this undulating ground. They can't quite see what's over the top, so I just jumped the 2 skinnies. She's so good at this type of thing. And actually I should have ridden forwards a bit, but she can cope very well with my ineptitude, which is great. And then we're I don't really want to jump anything else because I don't need to. She's been really good over everything else I've wanted to jump. So I do a bit of fitness work at this point. So if I can, cantering down hills is really good for them. This is a lovely hill to be able to do some sort of flat work, and then I make sure I come up the hill a lot faster, just to put the flat work, to put fitness in, and then make sure she comes back. And I think I go around and do this sort of like 3 times, just to give her, this is just additional fitness work for her, and then she won't need to go out and do any others. So then I'm cantering back down the hill. Again, I want her to be balanced between hand and leg, so I'm just testing that. And it's really great practice to be able to come and just balance around hills and things. Are they up in the bridle? Are they balanced? Is it easy for them? And you can see it's pretty, little odd head shake. It is pretty easy for her to be balanced down the hill. And then we're going to come back up the hill again. So I don't go flat out, but I just want her in the bridle and sort of extending out. She's got a very effortless gallop. And then at this point, I want her to come back and be balanced again, because this is pretending you've always got a jump and a turning question, and make sure she's between hand and leg. And then because it's undulating, that's ideal. So excellent. I'm very pleased for her, because sometimes she's not prepared to listen. And actually, I've done a little bit of work on this, because sometimes she'll drop you, as in like go back to trot, and I don't want that. So here we are. They've just got a little water jump. So school through the water. Very confident. So I'm really pleased with that. It's all really effortless for her, which is all you can ask for, because you want her super confident. And then they've got a little house here. So again, I just practiced scoot. I jumped it straight the first time, and then the second time just jumped it on the angle. Again, it's just all that practice. And then finally, working towards novice, just jumping in off the step, which she did very well. Jumped a little bit big the first time, so I made it in my mind that this is going to be the last effort, but I just wanted her to jump a little smaller the next time. If they jump off big off a step, it means they're a bit worried about it, so you keep going until they're just dropping off it normally. So there you go, a lot more relaxed. So perfect. So all in all, a very good effort, and that was our last sort of school. Yeah, can't ask for any more than that, can I?
So really pleased with that as a final school. As you can see, didn't jump anything very big, wasn't here to test. I was just here to actually do mostly canter work and check the balance. As you can see at the beginning, she was pretty wild and full of it, which is kind of why she's come here to sort of get that out of her system. And then once she'd done a bit of the canter work, she really settled. And actually, it's very similar to what we get cross country, where she comes out a bit wild, and then as we go further around the course, she settles. So for her, really useful the bomb craters and the little ups and mounds, because one of them she just was a bit too forward and carried on, and actually she needs to wait a bit more. So really useful little exercises for her without actually putting too much wear and tear on her legs. And then finished off with a little bit of fitness up the hill. So as you can see, she's recovered very quickly, so I'm really pleased about that, because I've spent quite a bit of time doing some good fitness. So that's Saturday, and then we'll see, hopefully get some vlogging done tomorrow and Sunday. So off show jumping tomorrow. Anyway, until tomorrow.
Good morning. So I've made it to Wales and West, as you can hear in the background. They've got the FEI running today, so that runs at 1:30 to 1:45.
and that's currently what we're having a quick look at. I've just walked my 1 metre, which looks ridiculous. So I've chosen to come here because there's a lot going on. There's 3 big rings jumping, a lot of horses, a lot of atmosphere, people wandering around, lots of distractions. So I felt that was going to be the best option for me. You can see we're parked right at the back, so we're only here for the day, but you can see all the lorries all camped up. They've been here for the weekend for the FEI, and also bringing younger horses to jump the national classes, which is what I'm doing. So yeah, I managed to get in late, which is pretty good. Started panicking because I hadn't entered anything, and the one I was planning on going to cancelled. So luckily they gave me a late entry, and here I am. So just looking for 2 nice rounds, and fingers crossed it goes to plan. So I'm jumping the 1 metre and the 1 metre 10. So a bit of a gap between. Normally I like to do a 105 and sort of ease my way into 110. But at least I've got the 1 metre first, so I'm not just heading straight out at 110 because I think I might be terrified then. But yeah, all good. Anyway, we'll keep you in touch. So just hand grazing into now. So with her week, what we've done is loaded the end of the week because we know she's feisty and mentally she's quite a busy brain. So she had 2 days off, Monday and Tuesday. She had a very light session on Wednesday, which is basically ride and lead. So I rode Robbie and led Incy, so they went out for about 45 minutes. So she didn't work very hard at the beginning of the week, and then Thursday she got sort of schooled a bit, again for about 20 minutes. Friday she had a flat work lesson with Joe where we just ran through my test, and then obviously yesterday I went cross country schooling, and today was show jumping. Tomorrow she'll have a pretty light day, and then Tuesday she'll probably just hack out in the morning, and then we'll set off for badminton in the afternoon. It's a joy of living fairly close to badminton. We're only an hour away, so for us we don't have to leave super early, and obviously I'm not doing anything until Wednesday, so I'd like her to spend as much time out in the field as possible on Tuesday, so that she's not working too hard and in as good form as possible, because she's got a busy day on Wednesday. So that is my plan. Anyway, we'll see if it comes off. So just thought I'd do a voiceover for the warm-up. She doesn't not like a busy warm-up at all. She's quite tight and quite tense here. There is no steward. Normally they have a steward and that monitors. There should be only like 6 in an arena this size, and there wasn't. There was a lot more. So it's not looking too bad at this point, but more and more just kept coming in. And what happens with her is whether her left canter is a bit more fragile, and she gets cross about it. You can see she's just not, she's mouthing the bit. It's open, her mouth's open, and she finds this kind of warm up really quite stressful. So I was really struggling with left canter, and everybody was on the left rein the whole time. So I literally jumped a fence probably about this big, and I don't even know if I managed to get to the oxer because it was just chaos. With everybody, you can't even barely canter around. In the past, I would have got really stressed about this and really bothered by it, but actually she's such a good horse and she's not spooky. There you go, you can see they're all coming in now. I think we've probably got about 10 in here, and it's probably like 20 by 40. You can't do anything, so I hate warm-ups like this, and I pretty much gave up at this point because I realised I was not going to manage to get anything done. So don't get stressed, just keep going. So I've just jumped the 1 metre with her. She was pretty full of it, considering she did all her fast work yesterday and was like cantered up a hill 3 times. She was bucking and squealing and full of it. So we weren't very fast, which is a shame, but we got the double clear, which is all you can ask for. She wasn't going to touch anything, and she just was so good. Really pleased with her. I wasn't going to jump the Discovery, but because she's come out so fresh, I am actually going to jump it now. I'm going to jump the newcomer, sorry, which is 110. So I wasn't going to, but because was a bit full of it, I feel like she could do something to make her think, and she's certainly got plenty of energy. I thought she might be a bit tired, but she certainly wasn't. The warm-up was a nightmare. There was far too many horses in a very small space, so I think I jumped about 80 centimetres, but that's where she's really good. Is the eventing sort of helps, doesn't it? But it's definitely the right place to bring her because there's a lot going on, and though she's not like playing up or anything, she's quite aware and she can't stand still, that sort of thing. So there's a level of tension there. So we're just hand grazing now, waiting for our next class, because that sort of like switches her brain off a bit and she can just have a bit of a munch quite happily, and then we'll go and do the newcomers. So, just got home. I didn't do one at the show just because we wanted to get the horse home sort of thing, because we don't want to be hanging around as long as we can. Anyway, there is the superstar in the background. I can't tell you how chuffed I am with her show jumping around. She was just absolutely brilliant. Just so up for it, so careful. It could be a little bit more forwards. That's my long-term aim, but she's just on absolute springs, and so I'm absolutely chuffed with that double clear that she got. So can't ask for anything more than that. So hopefully that set us up really well for Wednesday. So she won't jump again now until Wednesday. She's just got a light day tomorrow, and then Tuesday she will be ridden in the morning, and then we set off. So pretty exciting. She feels like she's in the form of her life, With her, it's up to her. If she wants to, if she enjoys it, she enjoys it. If she doesn't want to do it, she doesn't want to do it. I'm not going to be there to force her to do it. At the end of the day, my aspirations are for the horse to have a nice time and just to be a great partnership, not to go off and be a brilliant. Cross country, I don't ride with a whip. Certainly don't show jump with a whip or spurs. So, I can't ask, it's up to her. And it's down to her, so that's cool. All we can do is try and get there in how we want. So, really chuffed. And that's where we'll leave you, because tomorrow's just a quietish day tomorrow. I don't expect you want to see me trying testing the beds out in the caravan and stuff, whether we can get them to work and whether they're comfortable enough. And then Tuesday will be pretty full on with packing everything. So we'll see you Tuesday. Our plan is for the badminton week is to try and post every night. So there might only be 15 minutes, 20 minutes. We're up to some pretty cool stuff. So Tuesday night we'll try and get the course walk out. I've got media pass for badminton, which means I get backstage to quite a lot of stuff, which is really cool. So we're going to take you with us. Thursday night, Jancis and I are off to the big cocktail party at Badminton House, which is pretty epic. And Friday, try and just show you different things from our daily lives. Saturday, I think we'll try and get some rider interviews and stuff like that. And then Sunday, show jumping. It'll be a pretty manic day because it's pack up, but we'll just try and get you some cool little footage and do what we did for the Olympics. But anyway, hope you will enjoy. Anyway, join us for next week. It'll be a fun week, and then get the badminton vlogs out for the official, but just try and take you along for the ride with us. Anyway, see you then.